Hello, I'm leaving Dunedin for a short break. This is the lead street I was living, and I pre booked an airport shuttle. This is inside the shuttle. We were still picking up a few more students around the uni. It was a beautiful day in the spring. Sun was on the rise. This was around 7 a.m. Dunedin has a beautiful peninsula that takes you to the Pacific Sea. It has a cycling track which was newly built, reconnecting all the dots around the peninsula. And cycling is one of the hobbies of those who reside in the town. And now we were just heading towards the airport, and the driver just announced that we are on our way, because when you pre-book you don't know how many people have actually signed up for the day, so he kind of keeps us on track. And this offers some of the quintessential views of South Island in New Zealand. You can see these vast swaths of farmlands. There's sheep, there's cattle. I kind of enjoy this ride. Dunedin's weather can be really unpredictable. You could experience sun, a hail, heavy rains, on the same day. As you know, New Zealand has a bit of a colonial history. It's a settler colony. So some of these houses, you could see it has architectural elements of Scottish or British origin. In New Zealand, they also make an effort to restore some of their buildings. Recently, they opened up their station after a long restoration process. It just feels surreal sometimes, just to soak in the sun on a morning in the spring. I myself was trying to absorb in these views. Winter can be a little harsh in Dunedin, so everyone loves spring and summer. After spring, this leads to summer. I have seen even the animals, the species kind of love to stay in the sun during the day. Flowers have started blossoming. We just had the Hanami festival with the cherry blossoms. Spring has its own shades as well. Some flowers start blossoming while some flowers, start withering. I'm just being quiet here just to enjoy the waves and this pristine beauty of New Zealand. And to consume the morning sun on a day of spring. And Dunedin is such a laid back small town. There's no much competition here. It's not a very urbanized area. You can live your own life. We are just at the airport. I had to self check in. I was just ordering breakfast. I think I just had a breakfast wrap and a flat white. Dunedin makes very nice coffees. Flat whites are a Kiwi specialty. The best thing about this coffee is it doesn't cause gastritis. Sometimes bad coffee can cause gastritis. And this is a souvenir shop that was selling some of the Old Blacks merchandise. All Blacks just lost to South Africa just a few days ago, which was a major disappointment for the Kiwis. And Dunedin uses this hashtag Danastana if you want to give a shout out to this beautiful city. And I liked this metaphor from the Royal Albatross. They leave Dunedin, but they still fly back. And I was still trying to come back. I kind of like these metaphors and how New Zealand tries to protect its wildlife. They give a lot of priority to their birds. I'm heading towards Auckland. I'll be staying there for one night. I flew Air New Zealand. I really loved this flight. The service, the food, everything was just perfect. I would rate them 10 out of 10. My flight to Dunedin was just 2 hours or less than 2 hours. I requested for a black tea. As I said, the best part about Dunedin is they have best coffee and best tea. And guess where tea comes from? It's from Dilma. Shout out to Dilma as well for sending some of their best tea. So you could just feel like you're home. I had a black tea with brown sugar. In New Zealand, you have a lot of healthy options. You can order your coffee with almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, or just fresh milk. Same with sugar. There's brown sugar, white sugar, So I always go with brown sugar. This is me heading towards the Auckland airport the next day. I had a really great conversation with my Uber ride. He had a Persian origin but grew up in Bombay, and we had a very good political discussion in the morning. And I was staying the night in Auckland with one of the Akkis from school. She was really kind enough to offer me to stay overnight. We also made a Sri Lankan dinner and just had a chat. Now I'm just heading towards the Auckland airport. This is at the Auckland airport, and I have just started my journey towards Tokyo. I have planned this trip with my cousin sister who lives in Sydney. This is a very scheduled trip to Tokyo because we had to pre-book a lot of places in advance. They sell out a month in advance in Tokyo. Later we realized the population in Tokyo was very high and a lot of these places were in high demand. Especially Disneyland. You need to book a month in advance. I was just trying to exchange my currency from New Zealand dollars to US dollars, and later at Tokyo I converted that into yen. And you can see some of these flights are leading us to East Asia, destinations such as Singapore, Tokyo, Hong Kong. And I ordered my breakfast from McDonald's, a bagel and a hash brown. We were just waiting for the shuttle to take us to the flight. I like how New Zealand has color coordinated with black, white, and they also use the symbol of the fern. These flights look very pretty from the outside. I kind of liked this tunnel entry and just wanted to capture that part as well. During the flight, I watched this documentary. It was a series about elephants who live in deserts and elephants who live in savannas. and how their experiences differ. I also learned a lot about matriarchs of the elephants, how they kind of take care of their baby elephant from birth onwards, and also how patriarchs hang out together and socialize each other to lead a group in the forests. There was also a section about elephant communication, how subtle and complex that could be. They covered these elephant stories from the African region mostly. I was also sleeping on and off, but still tried to cover this documentary series. And this was the food offered at the flight. They also offered this kapiti ice cream as a snack. I'm on to my second black tea in an Air New Zealand flight, and of course with brown sugar. I was enjoying the beefs. And it was a 3-seater, and we had a gap in between, so the guy who was seated in the next seat, he was really cooperative. So for a 10 hours and a 55 minutes, it was really easy to take a bathroom break. There was just this silent understanding. I really loved how this documentary started off with this grand entry of an elephant who lives in the desert. And at this point, we were in between Papua New Guinea and Tokyo. I managed to capture this gorgeous golden hour just before we landed in Tokyo. It's interesting how seasons work. I was flying from Dunedin from spring to a fall in Tokyo. I loved how the positioning of the flight worked, and it offers different landscapes based on how it moves. This is the view from the next window. Sun was setting really early in Tokyo, but in Dunedin we have already started long spring days. And at this point, I was trying to listen to music from the 90s and absorb myself in this wave. Tokyo was this larger than life city, highly urbanized, highly crowded. And I didn't know before I landed. I didn't know what this trip would look like. That's me at the international transfer section at the Tokyo airport. I landed in Narita and my cousin landed in Haneda. So we got this offer from booking.com just for one person to take a ride for free. Please watch your step. By this time I was really tired, and that's my ride from Narita airport to the hotel that we were staying in Asakusa area. The hotel had a bit of a nature of a transit hotel, and it had pajamas and coffee sugar. You had to take them upstairs to your room. I just checked in. That's the map of Asakusa area. It's home to Sensoji Temple. They had tea, and we booked this room which was really small. Later we had to upgrade into a bigger room because it was not enough for two persons, but it had all the amenities. Like you can see, it had a bath, a study, a working table, and a mini fridge. And I was just trying to make my Japanese tea. Signing off from Tokyo until we meet with the next vlog. Welcome to Japan.